I got my Clint pierced at Claire's.
Oh, what, you think because I wasn't in the chair something was going to happen? It's gone, guys. It's gone. Move on. Evening, all you loquacious Les Paul-loving laboo-boos. Den here. They say everything is cyclical. We started with a Les Paul tier list, and now we are back at yet another Les Paul tier list. Now, I know everybody's gonna get mad at me, particularly because I haven't done the Explorer tier list yet. For some reason, everyone really wants me to do that one. But here's the thing. I'm leaving the country. No, I will be on vacation this coming week. By the time this video will be uploaded, I will be in Las Vegas. I was planning on this week's video being a tier list because I'm doing them every other week, but I wanted like an easier one to do. So I figured a part 2 of the famous Les Paul tier list would probably be the easiest one. But I promise Explorers will happen after this, and whichever other genre of guitars you guys want me to do next. But today's video is going to be a part 2 of our famous Les Paul tier list. Part 1 happened about a month or so ago, kickstarted this whole stupid series we've been doing. Prerequisites, we got to go through it every single time. Yes, this is a famous Les Paul tier list, but I am ranking the guitar itself. I'm not ranking the artist that made the guitar famous. So don't have a full-blown aneurysm if a guitar that I'm giving a bad rating to belong to one of your favorite artists. I'm not dissing the artist, but they might have bad taste. That's all I'm saying. And of course, I probably still haven't gotten every single famous Les Paul out there. So if I did miss your favorite in this video, go ahead and leave a comment. We just might be able to do a part 3 of the Les Paul tier list. It's probably like Strats and Les Pauls are the only ones that we could crank a part 3 out of. But we're doing part 2 for the Les Pauls today, so let's get into this, shan't we? Just like last time, I've got about 20 of some of the most famous Les Pauls in existence. Whether that be because the artists that used these guitars changed the face of music as we know it today, or because it was just a really cool looking guitar. So the tiers for this one, I change it every time, and this one might be a little hard to explain. Today, it's what the relationship I would have with these guitars would be. I think I worded that right. I don't know, guys, school was hard. If I was in a romantic relationship with this guitar, what would that relationship be like? That is a much better explanation of what this is. So up here at the top spot, we have would build a house with my bare hands. Like, I would literally do anything for these guitars. I would overthrow a continent for them if they asked me to. These are for the guitars that I am far and away the most down bad for. Like, I would be a weapons grade simp for these guitars. And then the tier right below that, we have princess treatment. These guitars are still getting essentially everything they want in their life. Like, if you don't know what the term princess treatment means, like, just try talking to a woman every now and then. It's crazy what you might learn. So yeah, I am still horrendously down bad for these guitars, but not as horrendously down bad as the top category. And then below princess treatment, we have happily married. I'm sure they might not get the princess treatment, and I might not build a house for them with my bare hands, but she'll still be fine. We'll be happily married. And then of course below that we have, no, I said stay at home. It's stay at home. But the tier below happily married is stay-at-home stepdad. I do 6 tiers. I don't really like that number, but I do 6 tiers because that's what I can fit. And the lower middle tier is usually just the mid category. I guess we'd still be married, but I'd be a stay-at-home stepdad. And then the tier below that, we have unhappily married. For this tier, just think about your marriage that you are in right now. That's what my marriage would be like with the guitars that I'm gonna put in this category. Is that a dig towards you and your marriage? No, not really. It's more so a dig about the culture of marriage itself. Most people shouldn't be getting married. You guys just think you can leap into a lifelong partnership with someone that you've known for like 3 months. Do you realize the commitment you're making? I don't think you do. I think if you realize the commitment you were making, you'd be waiting a lot longer to get married. But that's just me. What do I know? I just, you know, think about the choices I make. But yeah, unhappily married, second to last tier. And then the last tier is just smells bad. I'm not even gonna get in a relationship with these guitars just because I know that they smell bad, which is like, I feel like the importance of how you smell is incredibly underappreciated because the way you smell totally dictates the way I'm gonna treat you. Like, you should care about the way you smell for the sake of others. Like chain smokers that are just chuffing back fat darts every day that smell like death. No, thank you. I don't want you in my life. It smells like if ashes had body odor, and it's horrendous. The cigarette smokers who somehow smell really good when they're done smoking, those guys are fine. Let's actually finally just get into the tier list. Very similar to the first video, we are starting off with a Zakk Wylde Bullseye, but this is the camo grail Bullseye, and it's a little quirky. It's not like the other girls, I'll tell you what. It looks cool. I'm not gonna deny that it looks cool because I do like the way it looks, but I feel feel like there's just like a little too much going on with this guitar. The maple fretboard sticks out a lot. And then like the mother of pearl inlays on top of that, that's a lot, that's a choice. And then having two different designs on the same guitar is a little bit of sensory overload. Like it's one thing if you have a camo guitar and it's one thing if you have a Bullseye guitar, but you have a Bullseye guitar with camo behind it and a maple neck, that's a lot. I don't think anyone will disagree that that's a lot. What would my relationship be with this guitar? I think I would be a stay-at-home stepdad. I think that would be my role if me and this guitar were in a relationship. Moving on, we've got another far more controversial Zakk Wylde guitar, his Rebel Les Paul Custom. This originally was a black Les Paul Custom. So Zakk Wylde isn't actually from the South. He's from South Jersey, but he was a fan of people who were from the South, like Ted Nugent. And I'm hoping he was a fan of Ted Nugent before Ted Nugent made a song about wanting to fuck a child. But yeah, he put the Confederate flag onto his guitar. And then one day he was all like, wait, I'm not a Confederate. So he started sanding away that Confederate flag paint job. And then he started nailing a bunch of different kinds of bottle caps onto this guitar. I think I'm going to make a full video talking about Confederate flag guitars. I have a lot more to say about that particular subject. I love Zakk Wylde, and you know what? I was actually a fan of this guitar for some time, but then, you know, my frontal lobe continued developing. But we all just know that this guitar does not smell good. Like if this guitar had a smell, it would be alcohol and just like bad cigarette smell. And because of that, I just have to put it in the smells bad category. But that's not the only Confederate flag that exists out there. We've got another Confederate flag guitar up next, and this is Steve Jones's white Les Paul Custom. He did deface this flag a little bit by adding the pinup girls on it, but as we all know, the white flag is the other flag most commonly associated with the Confederacy. I feel like for the people that are actually fans of the Confederacy, that joke is going to go over their head. And you know what? That's okay. Here is a much better picture of what the guitar looked like. It had uncovered pickups, no pick guard, and then these stickers of these pinup girls on it. And yeah, Steve Jones, he's the guitar player for the Sex Pistols. He famously got into that band not knowing how to actually play guitar. Dagan Wilkin just actually made like a whole video about this specific guitar. So if you want to go check that out, it's a pretty good watch. But yeah, Steve Jones's Les Paul Custom is going to be one of the first Les Paul Customs that I would happily build a house for with my bare hands. And we are not done with the white Les Paul Custom train. We've also got the Edge's white Les Paul Custom. So the Edge is the guitar player for U2, as you probably know. Maybe you don't know that, but this is a damn good looking white Les Paul Custom again. It's that nice off-white, aged white. Oof, that's a good looking guitar, guys. I've probably listened to like one of U2's songs, and I guarantee it was when iTunes just put that one U2 album on everybody's iPod, if you're old enough to remember that, and nobody asked for it, but it happened. The Edge's Les Paul Custom, more like I'm edging to this Les Paul Custom. Got him. But yeah, this is another one that I am going to build a house for with my bare hands. I would give this guitar everything it ever wanted in its entire life. Moving on. Okay, I'm going to warn you guys now. There is a non-zero chance that this microphone will die in the middle of this video. I do apologize if the audio gets like exponentially worse. But anyway, moving on. We've got Jimmy Page's black Les Paul Custom. We talked about his 59 standards in the last video, but today we're going to talk about the Les Paul Custom he had when he was a young lad. As you can see, black 3-pickup Les Paul Custom. As always, looks so fucking sick. This one had a Bigsby on it, which does hinder it a little bit, but I think Jimmy Page's 3-pickup black Les Paul Custom would get the princess treatment. I'd probably take the Bigsby off, but other than that minor cosmetic surgery, me and this guitar, we would have a good life together. Moving on, we have got John Sykes and his Les Paul Custom. It was one of those guitars to where like he only changed a few little things and it gave it like a look of its own. Like every time you see a black Les Paul Custom with a mirror pickguard and mirror pickup rings, you're gonna think of John Sykes. Surprisingly, I haven't seen many actual like Gibson versions of this guitar, but I've seen a shitload of Edwards versions of this guitar. I'd much prefer just a standard black and gold Les Paul Custom, but me and this guitar would probably still be happily married. Frank Iero, is that how you say it? Iero? I don't know how you say his last name. Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance and his white Epiphone Les Paul Custom. And it was an Epiphone Elitist, so it's got the old Kalamazoo headstock. Now, these Epiphone Elitists did have incredibly thick necks, which is a downside to me. This isn't because it's an Epiphone. Do not get that twisted. It's because it has an enormous guitar neck that I know I would actively dislike. But regardless of that, Frank Iero's Epiphone Les Paul Custom would also get the princess treatment. We've got Mr. Matt Heafy of Trivium. So yeah, his signature like Origins Les Paul, I think is what it's called. It comes in both a black and a white version. You can get 6 and 7 string versions, and you can get both colors and both string configurations in left-handed versions. And I think that is fucking sick. I just wish it didn't use these fuck-ass ugly soap bar pickups. And Matt Heafy's 7 string only comes in a 25.5-inch scale length, which is acceptable, but I feel like for 7 strings, you want at least like 26.5-inch. It's still a 7 string Les Paul Custom, which looks fucking sick. I would be happily married to these guitars, especially the 7 string version. Another regular on these tier list videos, we've got Eric Clapton's Lucy 1957 red Les Paul standard. And it's a pretty cool, I mean, like it's a red guitar. You guys know how I feel about red at this point, but for a red guitar, it looks pretty cool. I like how there's like a noticeable difference in the color of the wood on this guitar. And this piece of wood right here was a little bit darker, so it came out as a darker red. I think that's just a quirky little imperfection that makes this guitar stand out. It's a 57, so it probably has a ginormous baseball bat for a neck. I think me and Lucy would be happily married. But that's not the only Eric Clapton guitar we're looking at. We are also looking at his Beano burst. So yeah, there's this picture of the guitar in black and white, and then there's also this picture of the guitar in black and white. The only other photos I could find of this guitar were like reissue pictures, and I'm not even sure I know which one is which, because they all kind of look the fucking same. It's hard to tell, because it looks very similar to a few of the ones that we're going to get into here in a little bit. I can't really tell what it actually looks like, but still it is a burst Les Paul. It's a 58, a 59, it's a 60, it's one of those. Because of that, it's getting at least the top 3. I guess we'll put Beano in princess treatment. We got to keep on trucking here, guys. My mic is going to die here at any second. We got Serj Tankian's signature Les Paul standard that he released with Gibson a while ago, and it is pretty freaking cool, I can't lie. And I mean, it's incredibly overpriced for what it is. I think it's like $3,000 something, which is fucking crazy. But I love Serj Tankian. I wish he had a little bit more enthusiasm when he was playing live with System of a Down, because when I saw them live, it looked like the last thing he wanted to do was be there. But I love Serj, and I love System of a Down, and this is a pretty fucking cool Les Paul, I must admit. I think this guitar is another guitar that I would happily marry. Mark Knopfler and his beloved 58 Les Paul standard. So yeah, Mark Knopfler, legendary guitar player. He's the guy that does that. You know that one, you guys know what I'm doing. It's hard to find pictures of these actual guitars, so I have to go off of reissues, and I mean, it's hard to tell what's a Beano Burst reissue and what's a Mark Knopfler 58 reissue, because they look like the same goddamn guitar. Like, these are supposed to be different guitars, but it's almost the exact same finish. It's a Burst, it's a 58, so it's got one of those fat ass necks, and because of that, it's gonna go a tier below the Beano Burst. So I think Mark Knopfler's Burst and I would be happily married. We've got one more white Les Paul Custom, and it is Jerry Cantrell's white polka dot Les Paul Custom. Oh, we lost the mic. Okay. The mic finally died, so we are like shitty camera audio now. I'm sorry, I just forgot to charge it for this video. But yeah, Jerry Cantrell's polka dot Les Paul Custom is actually like a bunch of cigarette burns on the face of the guitar, which is actually pretty unique and pretty freaking cool. He calls it the burn Les Paul Custom. It was already a white Les Paul Custom, which is freaking sick. Like, it's already gonna get a high rating because of that, but that just makes it a little bit more unique. Do I like it? Yeah, you know what? I would build a house with my bare hands for this Les Paul. Moving on, we have got Jason Isbell's Red Eye Les Paul standard. This is another 59, but this one is a little bit easier to differentiate from all the others because there's a little splotch of red that got left on this guitar. When this guitar was originally being sold, there was a little price tag right here that hung on it, and it preserved the aniline dye right there. For those of you that don't know, on these early 58, 59 Les Paul standards, the dye they used for the red was not very resistant to sunlight. When these guitars were being sold in shops in the front of a window, getting hit by direct sunlight, they would bleach out, and that's how you get these honeyburst colors. Because every one of these 58, 59, 60 Les Pauls were originally sunbursts, and they either turned into a honeyburst or an iced tea burst or a lemon burst or a tobacco burst or any of the other myriad of bursts that exists out there. I would build a house for this guitar with my bare hands. Continuing on with our Les Paul journey, we have Mr. Paul Kossoff and his 59 burst. There's a few 59s on this list, my friends, and this one is probably my favorite out of all of them. Paul Kossoff's Les Paul standard aged to a very nice honey lemon burst color, which is my favorite color for a Les Paul standard, and the flame on it is just so goddamn cool. It's like, it almost looks like greeny, but better. You know what I'm saying? Paul Kossoff's Les Paul standard is easily another
another guitar that I would build a house for with my bare hands. Moving on to quite possibly the most underrated and underappreciated guitar player in existence, we have Mick Mars and his black Les Paul Custom. Yeah, Motley Crue literally would not be Motley Crue without Mick Mars. For some reason, no one gives him credit for carrying Motley Crue on his fucked up back their entire career. But yeah, he also had this really freaking sick Norlin era black Les Paul Custom. He took the gold pickup covers off, but he left everything else on, and man, this thing just looks so sick. Especially when the binding yellows out over time, that's how you get a good looking black Les Paul Custom. When they look like they're almost entirely black and gold, that's when they look really good. I can't build a house for every single one of these guitars. I would build a house with my bare hands for Mick Mars. I think Mick Mars' Les Paul Custom gets the princess treatment. Moving on, we've got one more Epiphone that we need to talk about. Tommy Thayer's signature Epiphone Les Paul. This thing was fucking sick. I don't care who you are, this is a cool ass looking guitar. Yeah, sparkle blue Les Paul Custom with a blue Seymour Duncan pickup in there. Fuck off, dude. That is so goddamn cool. Like, here's a more up close picture of the Tommy Thayer signature Epiphone, and dude, that blue is just so cool. Tommy Thayer's signature Les Paul is another one that gets the princess treatment. That is a damn good looking guitar, I tell you what. Moving on, we have Mr. Chad Kroeger of Nickelback. Yeah, we're going here. I am personally of the belief that Maroon 5 deserves the hate that Nickelback gets. I feel like Nickelback is just a little too hated on. But like, I love the meme. He did have a signature Les Paul standard that was like this gray-brown smoke burst. Like, if I had the opportunity to make a signature Les Paul, I'd go a little crazier than this. I think Chad Kroeger's Les Paul and I would be unhappily married. Just because like a black, gray-brown smoke burst isn't really my preferred color for Les Pauls. I would prefer something just a teensy bit more interesting than that. It's still a Les Paul, so I would marry it, but I don't think we'd be very happily married. Like, our neighbors would definitely hear some screaming matches every now and then. Mr. Bernie Marsden and his 1959 Les Paul, known as the Beast. Many people refer to this as the best 59 Les Paul in existence, and you know what? I'm a little inclined to believe them because it also looks fucking sick. Bernie Marsden was a guitar player in Whitesnake. Very sweet guy. May he rest in peace. Yeah, his 59 Les Paul that he named the Beast is definitely a beast. It's widely regarded as one of the best sounding 59s in existence. Here's another picture of it right here. Dude, it looks so good. The aging on it just makes it look that much cooler. If I could play any 59 Les Paul, this would probably be like up there in the choices. But yeah, Bernie Marsden's 59 Les Paul, the Beast, is definitely a guitar that I would build a house for with my bare hands. And the last guitar we're going to look at today is Mick Ronson's Les Paul Custom. Now, from right here, it might look like a white or even a black back Les Paul Custom, but it was actually a black Les Paul Custom that had the paint stripped off of the top of the guitar. It just looks even cooler with the uncovered pickups and no pick guard. I don't know if Gibson ever did like production versions of this guitar. He kind of did a Peter Green thing with the volume and tone knobs. That's a good looking guitar. It's kind of growing on me the more I'm looking at it. But yeah, Mick Ronson's natural Les Paul Custom, I think it also gets the princess treatment. That's a good looking guitar right there, guys. And I think with that, we are going to wrap up our second famous Les Paul tier list. Most of them are in the top 3 categories because I love Les Pauls. Like, it kind of takes a lot for me to give one a bad rating. We've only got one in each of the like negative categories. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I really hope you guys enjoyed. As always, go down there, leave a comment, give me your thoughts and opinions. I love to hear what you guys have to say, especially for these tier list videos. Share the video around, give that like button a big ol' whompin'. And if you regularly watch my videos and you haven't already subscribed, then you are going to be unhappily married the rest of your life. Because you're an ass. Big shout out and a thank you to Torch of Hope, Big Tills, Master Chief, Scott Tolman, Leagues Beneath, Jan Chocolate, Bandage Knives, Brandon's Ballast Corner, Bad Joe Guitars, Rob Heath, Solar Flare, A Horse Running, and Cosmic Steez. These big old badonkadonks are my current channel members, and their support really does mean a lot. If you want to join them, get a shout out in my longer videos, get access to the members only videos, and just help support this channel in a bigger way, then you can go down there, click the join button. Tiers start as low as 3 schleemies. There's also the super thanks button down there if you just want to give me some money. But I'm done being a tool. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys next time with a fully charged microphone. You little critters have fun now while I'm in Vegas.